Title: Famed Manson follower Leslie Van Houten flies the Coop! TLDR. After doing a half-century stretch behind bars, Leslie Van Houten, a notorious member of the infamous Charles Manson cult, sauntered out of her California prison cell this Tuesday. Involved in 2 heinous murders that rocked the 60s, she's now breathing the sweet air of freedom. But hey, no one's recommending you invite her over for dinner just yet. Full story. Ever dream of what it would be like to step out into the sun after being cooped up indoors for decades? Leslie Van Houten, the once loyal follower of the infamous Charles Manson cult, can give you the real scoop now. Walking out of a California prison this Tuesday after serving 50 solid years, Van Houten's new reality is like walking into an episode of Stranger Things. No more life sentence looming over her head for her part in a pair of gruesome murders that shocked the world back in the 60s. Now, the question is, what next? Imagine a teenager falling under the sway of a charismatic, yet deeply disturbed cult leader. Quite the screenplay for a horror movie, right? Except this wasn't a flick but Van Houten's life. Fast forward to a half-century later, Van Houten, no longer the spellbound teenager, steps out of her prison cell a 73-year-old woman, stepping back into a world that has moved on without her. Talk about a culture shock, eh? And while she might have been released from her prison cell, one wonders if she'll ever truly be free from her past. The shadow of her ties with the Manson cult, and her involvement in those horrific murders, are bound to tail her like a relentless ghost. Spooky, right? Yet, as much as the whole scenario makes us uneasy, it raises some critical questions. Does a half-century of incarceration change a person? Can one truly repent, reform, and reintegrate into society after such heinous crimes? Or are some actions just unforgivable? Don't get us wrong. We're not suggesting you swing by and welcome her to the neighborhood with a basket of muffins. But it's hard to not wonder about the internal journey she's been on and the reality she now faces. And it begs the age-old question, does society give second chances to those who've served their time, or is the stigma of a criminal past an insurmountable hurdle? Now, we turn it over to you. What do you think? Can a former cult member truly leave the past behind, or are some shadows just too long to escape? Let's hear your thoughts. Disclaimer: this article is for information purposes only and does not constitute or substitute legal, mental health, or other professional advice. The views expressed are those of the author and do not necessarily represent those of Turned Up News.